Hello everybody, my name is Miss Retribution and welcome to today's video. We were going to be talking about the Resident Evil franchise because if you've watched my previous video, I talk how much I love the video game. Like, Resident Evil is my life. It really is. Starting back when I first played it on PlayStation 2, again, it was in the previous video, I played Resident Evil Outbreak, and I was scared of the video game at the time. You know, 5-year-old girl playing a video game with violence, yes. She has no idea what she's doing, does not have any tutorial, she did not read the manual or anything, she just goes into the game, figures it out around the age of 6, and then, lo and behold, PlayStation 3 comes out, and I flip it. I love the PlayStation consoles. I'm all about PlayStation and PC. Not a huge fan of Xbox, but I'll play it. I'll play Xbox if I need to, just play with my other friends. But I really enjoyed how they had the first game they had for it was Resident Evil 5. Now, granted, I wanted to play the girl, but my sister wanted to play her, so I was like, I'll play Chris Redfield, it's fine. So we played through that. Really enjoy the campaign, and I was really sad that Wesker died, but, you know, if you're a villain in Resident Evil, you're gonna die. There's no hope for you. Either you're in like a prison, or you're getting tortured, or whatever. But anyhow, I liked the storyline. It was more so about the game mechanics. I didn't really enjoy that much because it kind of reminded me of Resident Evil Revelations, which I can stand that because it was made for the 3DS, but then they had it for PC for Resident Evil Revelations 2, which we'll get into that. We're going down the correct, proper storyline. I mean, I also played Resident Evil 0 and Resident Evil 1. I like those, but, you know, no. Wasn't gonna play those. Never beat them anyhow, and I never beat Resident Evil Outbreak. It was up until Resident Evil 5 came out, I actually beat it. Resident Evil 6, I would play that a whole bunch. I especially really love the Sherry and Jake campaign, and I was really curious who Albert Wesker's mother is, because I always thought it was Excella, but then again, she did die because she had just stupid stuff. So, she died in Resident Evil 5, and I was wondering who his mother would have been, but I guess she would have some random way back when Albert was in the prime, I guess. But, I liked how there was a hint of romance right between Jake and Sherry, and so I was like, whenever they make another Resident Evil, kind of like the story base, I want it to be more based off of Jake's storyline, and have Sherry kind of go in there with him. Because I would think that would be really great to see where their relationship will go, if it'll blossom into something more, or if it's something just completely friendship-based. Because I get the feeling there is some romance in there. If we all remember the last scene where he held her hand, and then they played that wonderfully cliche song of romance at the end with the credits. Okay, we better remember that. Because Chris and Pierce's campaign was more based on how to fix Chris's mind through all the people that he's lost, and at the same time as how really depressing and beautiful it was at the same time, I was really sad because Pierce had so much potential as a character, and then they just killed him off. Granted, he's still under the submarine. I'm gonna call it a submarine because he's underwater. But granted, he's still in there, but I'm pretty sure he's dead. You see him just using his infected arm to basically launch the escape pod into the air. I see another BOW go straight for Chris, and then Pierce kills that, and I was wondering if he does die. I'm pretty sure he does, which is really sad because he has so much potential as a character. There's so much background that I wanted to see, and maybe in another Resident Evil we'll see more of his backstory before he meets Chris, maybe. That's just me praying for that. Because Chris and Pierce, I really like their dynamic. It was a very brotherly relationship in a way. And for Helena and Leon, the campaign was good. It was not bad at all. It just seemed more like, how would you describe it? Theirs was more based on missions and just getting things done. I mean, granted, they had their moments, and people were like, oh, it's gonna be shipped. No, I don't ship it, no. there's no way Leon's ever going to have a relationship with her. But Helena has a whole bunch of potential as well as a character. She lost her sister Deborah. She killed her. All that good stuff. Dropped her down a hole. It's great. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of potential for that character to develop further on into the series, because granted she's not dead, so maybe she'll be on a different mission. It might not be with Leon, because Leon, if I remember correctly, he likes to go solo, but if he has to have a partner, he will. Now, for Leon, he's an old character. He's very well-rounded. He's good at hand-to-hand combat. He has so much experience in the field of killing zombies along with Chris. Now, the fight scene between Chris and Leon was very well drawn, and it was really good to watch. I rewatch that scene all the time because it's one of my favorites, personally. Ada Wong's campaign, it's good, but it wasn't as great as I would wanted it to have been, but there's a lot of things that they could have improved, but at the same time, it was a really enjoyable story. Because if you want to have two people in the game, and you just play some side character and he has like no storyline or anything. I know Ada likes to go solo, but eventually, maybe down the line of Resident Evil franchise, maybe Ada will team up with Leon and there will be a story like that. But knowing Ada, that probably will never happen. I do like the character development, though. There was a little bit more character development with Ada, with Leon. If we all remember how she was fighting off the infected douchebag, and she gets knocked unconscious, and Leon jumps when Helena's like, just forget her. And he's like, no! And then they ended up killing Simon. It was pretty good, but Carla, I don't... The villain in the game, Carla, wasn't my favorite. I mean, she was trying to be an Ada Wong, but she failed really hard, and it was a great storyline, but it was just really weird for me to see like two Adas, but one's named Carla but says she's Ada. It's very confusing for me. I got confused sometimes through that story. Now, going to Resident Evil 7, I haven't seen all of the playthrough, but so far that's more based on the horror. It's not really based off of the franchise of like the stories like Jake and Sherry and things like that. So that one was really scary for me. I couldn't even play it myself. I had to watch other people play it because it was that good. Okay, they nailed it on horror. Resident Evil can nail horror anytime. It's beautiful. That was so beautifully drawn, and the way the characters were, the character development, and how you could play it, and the jump scares was phenomenal. It's a really good game. If you're not easy to scare, then you should play it, because you will literally want to cry. I couldn't watch certain scenes because I'm like, no! But Resident Evil Revelations, the first one, I really liked the Jill and Parker thing. It kind of made me forget that Jill and Chris should be a thing, and kind of had a thing. But Jill and Parker was really good. Jessica just aggravated the crap out of me and hope she dies, but she hasn't died yet. And Chris in the story was with Jessica, so when Chris and Jill meet up, I was just like, no! But it was really sweet, but I'm like, god dang it, man, I'm still shipping the Parker. Now, Resident Evil Revelations 2, I never really got to majorly play or get into because I only had the free episode 1 and I just mainly play raid mode, which, by the way, the raid mode is just beautiful. Oh my god. It's granted the maps are based off of Resident Evil 6, like the mercenary maps for there, and it's on Steam it's worse. It's like not even highly graphic details, like it just looks like bleh. So I don't really enjoy the Resident Evil Revelations raid mode maps that kind of suck. Certain ones are great, like the one in that one town in Resident Evil 6. That one was perfect. I think it was called Urban. Yeah, the Urban one. The Urban map was perfect. Nailed it. The one where Sherry was and Jake, where they were in that, I want to say it was like a mansion / hospital type feel. that one was really bland for me. Like, it didn't look like they didn't put any effort into it, but they do have a character in there named Gina, and she has different character skins that you can use, like Lady Hunk. I always use Lady Hunk. I cannot do anything else. They have Rachel from Resident Evil Revelations, the first one. They have a whole bunch of other stuff that you could do. They even have the regular Gina skin from Resident Evil Revelations too. And I don't really like that skin. But their leveling up system is very different. Versus Resident Evil Revelations 1, you max out your level. It goes across all the borders for any character. But in the second one, you gotta individually pick the character you want. So if you pick Claire Redfield and you level up to like the max abilities, and then you switch over to Gina and choose the skin, then you start all over. But Claire would still be the highest level, and then you would have the lowest level that you had would be Lady Hunk. Now, they could have changed that and just based off the rankings for the first game. That'd be pretty good. So, I would say, Resident Evil Revelations 2 makes you buy the episodes, which isn't cool. I mean, you already put a whole bunch of money into the game, and then they didn't want you to put in, like, $1 towards each episode. And it's a pretty good story so far. I mean, Moira is not my favorite. She's very hard-headed, and especially in a zombie environment, she doesn't want to use guns because she's against the whole thing. She was already gonna die from the start. If you are against shooting something that's already dead, you're already granting yourself to be dead. But in the game, I didn't really like the characters that much, especially like the game style. Resident Evil 2, it's okay, but you have to switch between certain characters. If you want to blind an enemy, you'd have to switch to Moira, and if you wanted to kill somebody, you'd switch over to Claire, and then you'd shoot him, and she has a knife, and then Moira has a crowbar, which is effective in opening doors, but I hated having to switch between the two just so that I had to get Moira to open the door, and then I had to use Claire Redfield just to switch between those two characters as fast as possible, just to kill the enemies that were coming towards us when she couldn't even open the door. Because she doesn't automatically do it, you have to do it yourself, while the enemies are coming towards you. And you gotta hope that she opens the door in time, because if she doesn't and she gets hit, then you have to start all over, which was a pain in the butt. I did that like twice. I played the first episode twice because I was bored. No, it wasn't good at all for me. I didn't really like that. I wish they changed that up. But this was Miss Retribution, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.